Okay, so today we have Morrissey and Headache. So we're going through his new album here, Makeup is Alive. As I mentioned last week, I've done all the singles and I'm pretty much going in the track list order, and Headache is the next one there. So I'm intrigued by the title, Headache. I feel like a lot of people, that's what Morrissey has given them. I can probably say that much. But for me, I've enjoyed what I've heard, and we're going to get into this one, talk about it after 4 minutes, 22 seconds. Here we go. Headache, the fifth track. It's reminiscent of something.
Do you take this headache to be your amour? La 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 la, to cherish and obey now and forevermore.
Big bass.
As long as you both shall live, till headache us do part. With this headache I thee wed, and thus pronounce you dead. La 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 la. La 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 la, to have and to hold, in headache and in health. La 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 la, la 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 la, as long as you both shall live, till headache us do part. A short time to live, and it's still too long, and it's still too long. What God has joined together, let no headache separate. I don't even like you. I don't 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 even like you. I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like you.
Okay. As the guitar just keeps on going, but Morrissey and Headache. So I gotta say off the bat, there's so much And I don't even know, because again, I've seen mixed reviews. I know, I guess a lot of these songs, a lot of this album, whatever. But for me, I gotta say, there's a lot for me going through my big fat head of what I think of this track here. And I feel like this track is it's designated for all the kids of, you know, divorced parents. My parents aren't divorced, but they're split up and they're never getting back together. So I just think about that, and I think about love, obviously, and I think about Morrissey's his thoughts on love, and I mean, we talk about it all the time, but it's his quiet. I mean, I say quiet here because he's very whispery, and the La La La's are very dreamy, but it's his quiet view, I would say, on love, on marriage, all these things. I mean, he seems to detest marriage, and I believe marriage has. I have not seen the statistics, but I feel like marriage is, you know, it's not as big as it once was. I mean, I would say back here in 2026 now, or along here in 2026, all these years later. So it's fun to hear Morrissey have that opinion, because I feel like I pretty much have the same opinion. Again, as a kid from, you know, divorced parents, basically. And, so yeah, I just feel like this song just speaks to me more than it would if my parents were still together, or if anyone's parents were together. I guess maybe it wouldn't speak to them as much as it does for me as a listener. But anyway, for him here, I mean, from the get-go, there's that, like, I want to say, like, stutter step, but just the way the drums start the song off, and it reminded me of what the first song that came to mind was "Nonstop Disco Power Pack" by the Beastie Boys. It's the same kind of vibe right off the get-go. Like, all I can describe it as is a stutter step on the drums there. I don't even know if that's the way to say it, but whatever. A playful, you know, step right in there off the get-go from the drummer. I would say Brendan Buckley was on the drums here, and then we move in, and it almost had a feeling. I mean, there's obviously, and my eyes are bugging me, but there's obviously a trip hop feeling to this as well. I mean, it's slow, it's meticulous, and there was also, for a lot of this album, I don't know if I'd say gothic rock, but it's dark and it's ominous, and this continues here. And what came to my head as well is another song like Chamber of Reflection, I think by Mac DeMarco, I want to say, does that one, but it's just that same kind of big sound. And what really gave me a big sound here was the upright bass that's on this track here, that I believe Juan plays, and as well there's also a bass guitar too, but the bassiness, if I could say that much, of the track is needed and is necessary, I would say, here, because of the context, because of these lyrics, and because the bass hits even more because Morrissey's voice is so high. He's not really singing in a tenor, but he's singing in such a quiet voice, and so again, the bass just hits even more. The guitar work here, as I said at the end of it, just continuous guitar work there from Alan White. I do believe he was doing the guitar work on this track, and like I've mentioned before, I love that he's back with Morrissey. He's on this album, and it's just fun to see them, you know, back together doing their thing there. But yeah, his continuous, I would say, waning electric guitar work, you know, became a bit more fiery at the end, almost like psychedelic in a way. There's so much going through my head. Like I said, trip hop, a little bit of psychedelia. I mean, it's just nuts to me. But at the same time, everything kind of dark and ominous and smoky. Is a very smoky track, I would say, too. And it's dark because of the lyrics too, not just the sound, but the lyrics as well. I mean, talking about marriage and all that stuff. But again, Morrissey seems to be happy that he's not married. I don't think he has ever been married, but he doesn't seem like the guy. And through all of his songs, and even some of the songs we've done on this track already, or on this album already, doesn't seem like he's the guy who likes to be tied down by one person. Not to say he's a man whore or whatever the hell, but I just don't think he wants any of marriage, whatever. And even if he is with somebody, it just seems like to him marriage isn't all that, you know, it doesn't really matter to him at all. It's just, you know, I'm with you, and that's all that matters. So anyway, I just love how the way he went about this, whatever the hell, and like I said, it really speaks to me as well, because I think of another one that comes to mind, not in the way the sounds or anything, but like a song called Stay Together for the Kids by Blink-182. There's a lot of sentiments of that in this song as well, and just how marriage is just a headache, and again, yeah, it's just at the end of it, a lot of the time through divorce, yeah, both sides are happy that it's over. The headache is gone, and so yeah, I just love how moody he makes it, and how real he makes it, whatever. So it creates a vulnerable feel, at least for the listener too, especially if you've gone through something like this, and even though you miss your parents being together, I mean, this is just an aside now for me, and even though you miss your parents being together, you know that it's better that they're not, and that they've moved on with other people and all that stuff that actually like them. As Morrissey puts at the end, I don't even like you, and but you're still stay together, and finally you break apart, thankfully. But yeah, looking at the personnel here on Wikipedia, again, sometimes this is hard to follow because of the way they put it out. But like I said, Juan, and I want to say, I try to search up how to say his last name. Galliano, that's what they told me. I don't know, that's AI and it could be wrong. But he was on upright bass here, and that upright bass, even if I didn't read it before the song, maybe I would have caught on that there was more than just a normal bass guitar in this. But yeah, he was on the upright bass guitar there, or upright bass, not guitar at the end. And Jesse Tobias, of course, was on bass himself on this one. Alan White, as I mentioned, was on guitars on this track, as it's put here, and keyboards. Gustavo Manzer was on keyboards. The tinkly keyboard work here too was very nice, and that created a lot of the dreamy feel that I got from the track too, the dreamy vibe. And I don't, yeah. So even though I mentioned that it's dark and all that, Gustavo was making it a bit more dreamy and a bit more light, I think. But yeah, so there you go there, and that's all I see. And of course, like I said, Brendan Buckley on drums, and I would say it was him doing the shuffling, the kind of like the paintbrush kind of feel on those drums at one point too. So either way, it was quite the vibe they had going on here. I mean, my God, quite the vibe for a song about dysfunction. I mean, so anyway, we'll get into these lyrics now once the page loads. Here we go. So the first verse. Do you take this headache to be your amour? Of course, your love in French there. I did go to French in school, or I did have French in school. La 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 la. He goes on to cherish and obey now and forevermore. Of course, this is a play on your vows when you're getting married, but he replaces some of those vows and what the priests or whatever says with headache, because that's what Morrissey sees it as. And I just love how real he is being about this. Do you take this headache or this, this woman or this man to be your lawfully wedded husband or wife? And then you do, I guess, to cherish and obey, to cherish and not love, but to cherish and obey forevermore. And again, just to him, it just seems like, I mean, if he got married, I would see that ending in divorce for Morrissey. But then you go on with the refrain. As long as you both shall live till headache, us do part. And of course, I believe that's, till, death do us part. I do believe. But yeah, I just love how he makes it. And you think about, forever is a long time, as long as you both shall live until you both die, you want to be together. She's like, God damn, that's a lot of pressure. And Morrissey wants none of it. Then we have the second verse. With this headache, I thee wed, and thus pronounce you dead. Again, not, I don't pronounce you married or husband and wife. I pronounce you dead because now your relationship's just fucked. And now you got to obey each other. And if you divorce, you got to give half of whatever to this person. I mean, he just does not like any of it. And I love it. To have and to hope and headache and health. Again, this headache. Why are you marrying them in the first place if they're such a headache? But it's just it's a great it's a great time anyway for me to listen to, because I've lived some of it. The refrain again, as long as you both shall live, and that coming in again, just you think about as long as you both shall live. That's a freaking long time. Till headache do us part. Then we have the instrumental break, which again I talked about. The tinkling keys, the great guitar work, constant guitar work, and then you have the third verse. Man born of woman has a short time to live. And I think about, I don't even know, just at this point though, of course has a short time to live. Of course you're dead and you're non-existent for a lot longer than you were alive. I mean, you think about that and that comes into mind. Do you really want to spend it with this headache all the time? I mean, my God. And it's still too long, and it's still too long. It's still too long even if it's a short life. What God has joined together, let no headache separate. I just love how he inserts headache into everything. I know what's the name of the song, but it just he just inserts headache into every line of us. I don't even like you. And then we get very, after getting kind of, maybe you want to say philosophical or talking about religion, talking about all these things, at the end of it, he just says the basic point out loud. I don't even like you. And then the outro there, how he repeats that on. I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't even like you. It sounds like a kid in a way, but it's real. I don't even like you. Why am I going to do this and waste my life with you? And it's just like, my goodness gracious. So anyway, I just love this. And you kind of understand where Morrissey's coming from. Not really kind of, you can understand completely where he's coming from here and his stance on this, and his staunch stance on marriage and all this stuff and relationships in a way. And so yeah, I just love that. Just love him just being himself once more, and not really getting on a soapbox, I would say, but just telling it like he sees it with marriage. And again, as a kid from a broken marriage, you find out that, even though your parents can be together for like 20 years, whatever the hell, at the end of it doesn't really matter because they don't like each other to begin with. So it's just, my goodness gracious, just hits a little bit. But I guess that's all I'm going to say. So thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting. The funny thing is, I was going to do this song last night. Going to do this reaction and, you know, get it done early. But I did have a headache, so I didn't do it. So isn't that funny? The name of the song is called Headache, and I had one. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. Yeah.